The world's most popular sport is set for an earth-shattering change. Several elite football clubs are forming a European Super League worth billions of dollars. Fans of teams excluded from the alliance say the move is wide off the mark and more about money than competitive skills.
It seems like a lot of the big boys don't like the idea of smaller clubs great crashing their party and taking away some of their revenue and TV revenue.
It's like the idea that you make the Premier League a kind of American-style league where there's no relegation, there's no promotion. It's just ridiculous.
Among the founding members of the European Super League are 6 of the UK's richest clubs, including the 2 teams from Manchester, as well as London's Chelsea and Arsenal. Spain will be represented by 2 clubs from Madrid, as well as FC Barcelona, while Italian giants Juventus are joined by Inter Milan and their cross-city rivals AC Milan. JP Morgan is financing the competition and paying founding members a signing bonus of $400 million each, or a total of $4.2 billion. In comparison, the English Premier League, the world's biggest, raked in more than $7 billion in revenue the year before the pandemic. The games are due to be played twice weekly from August and would interfere with the schedule of the Cross-Continental Champions League, which would also lose 12 of its most popular teams.
They will take away a lot of the TV money from the rest of European football, and in the end, we will see potentially dozens and dozens of clubs going bankrupt, and thousands of people will see their job at risk in European football.
Uefa, the Union of European Football Associations, says it'll ban participating clubs from its existing tournaments. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson says Downing Street will support current governing bodies.
We're going to look at everything that we can do with the football authorities to make sure that this doesn't go ahead in the way that it's currently being proposed. I don't think that it is good news for fans. I don't think it's good news for football in this country.
Despite the backlash, European Super League organizers want kickoff to take place as soon as possible. They're also trying to recruit holdouts from France and Germany. And if they succeed, the league that many say is bad for football may turn out to be one of the best shows on earth. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
Well, Hugo Hensley is head of sports services at the consultancy firm Brand Finance. He joins us now from London. Good to have you back on the program, Hugo. Now, this plan for a breakaway league has almost universal condemnation from the UK Prime Minister down. It looks like the only people supporting this idea are the clubs themselves, the clubs that actually want to form this Super League. Can you tell us, why is this idea of a Super League with the top flight clubs seen as damaging to football?
Well, thanks for having me. Well, I think one of the most sort of enchanting aspects of the European football model is that it professes to be fair, and any team in the pyramid has the possibility to just keep winning games until it's crowned champions of Europe. Obviously, for a team in the 8th tier of English football, that's a long journey, but it's possible, and that's sort of the key sort of fair brand aspect that we have in Europe. And we conduct market research among fans all over the world, and our latest studies showed that the Premier League's rated the best league in the world, but also the most competitive. And this isn't a coincidence. This competitive nature creates the entertainment that brings the fans and the big money through broadcasters and sponsors. So creating a league that's closed in the European Super League would break down this fair system, both in terms of who has access to the competitions, but also who accesses the money. And I think that's the biggest criticism that I've seen.
Now, the clubs involved in this proposed Super League would argue that they want to keep that sort of merit-based competitions in place. So the Champions League will effectively still be there. The EPL will still remain as that idea of, I guess, a fairer competition, but they just want this in addition to the current leagues and competitions that are in place. What would you say to that?
I think, as we've seen during COVID, the football calendar is already under huge pressure for who gets to arrange games when, and it's been immediately said that those who are playing in the Super League wouldn't be featuring in the Champions League, and all of the sort of football associations and leagues, I think, have come out and made a statement together that said, actually, we don't want you taking this section outside, and I don't think they'll allow it to be intruding on their current calendars, which are all arranged together currently.
So this idea from the Super League proponents that basically say this midweek competition would be held in addition to the other competitions, you don't think that's realistic?
I don't, but I also think it's an extreme situation. If we saw the sort of the 12 teams currently signed up excluded from national competitions, and I think they know that when they've made this announcement, they've gambled that they're going to be allowed to remain in the domestic competitions. And although the European football and its global appeal is extremely lucrative, these clubs still derive a huge proportion, usually the majority of their income, from the domestic match day broadcasting sponsorship. So one of the big talking points that is that this has been designed for a global and especially Asian audience. However, our market research has shown that actually in China, the Premier League is preferred to the Champions League, and is the most supported competition behind the Chinese Super League. So really, it may end up being too much of a gamble if those domestic competitions threaten to boot them out.
As you mentioned earlier, Uefa has come out swinging. They've said that anyone who takes part in this proposed Super League would be banned from all, not only European but international competitions. The players might even be banned from participating in the World Cup itself. Given the fact that they've said this, the proponents of the Super League have actually said, well, we're launching legal action so we can actually force this through. Do you think, it does seem they're more determined than ever to get this off the ground. Do you think it will actually happen given the backlash that we've seen, certainly in the UK and other countries in Europe?
Honestly, I don't know yet. My gut feeling is no, but the backlash has done some damage to these clubs' brands. But I think if they back off, it can be repaired. Just as with the Premier League's poorly received Project Big Picture that came out in the last year as well. But I think it's clear that what the football associations have done is they've looked at all of the key stakeholders in this, and they've said, actually, we're going to be taking away not just access to the fans, but also the players have their own decisions to be made. And if they can't take part in international competition, they're trying to put pressure on these clubs from sort of all angles.
Okay, Hugo Hensley from Brand Finance. We'll see how this idea progresses, if it actually does. But thank you again for joining us on the program.